Okay.
It's under request. You'll just have to agree to it.
Okay. Allow recording. There we go. All right.
Thank you.
Well, good morning and welcome to A Better World with Julann and Fran. Unfortunately, we do not have Julann with us this morning because she has some children with her grandkids, I guess, who are sick, and she's not going to be able to make it. But we have with us this morning Guzalia Davis, who,
Hello.
welcome to the show. And can you tell us a bit about what it is that you are doing to make the world a better place?
I'm helping people to improve their life by any means that are available to us, whether it's coaching, hypnosis, meditation, all sorts of healing modalities.
Excellent. And how long have you been doing this?
As long as I remember.
Really?
Well, when I started, my start of my healing career, let's say, it was with my grandmother. I was still a child. Um, we call it shamanism.
Oh.
That's who my grandmother was.
Mhm.
And only when I started studying things, I realized what we did was mostly trance work, hypnosis, but we didn't call it hypnosis. We called it spirit, magic, sorcery.
That's great. So you were just a child when you began.
Hmm.
Did your grandmother train you?
Not intentionally, I would say. I was just a helper, but there is a benefit comes with it. You learn right there by her side.
So did she do this with other people as well?
People who she was helping,
Yes. Oh, that's
yes.
great. That's wonderful. And are there other people in your family who also do what you and your grandmother do?
No,
Just the two of you. Okay. Um, so what do you when you advertise your services, what do you call yourself?
I here in the USA, it's hypnosis. It says under the roof of hypnosis because it's difficult to explain everything that I do. So once they come, they don't have a choice. They'll get all of me with all my tools.
Okay. And you mentioned before quantum hypnosis? Did you
I
mention?
mentioned my workshop. I named the workshop Quantum Leap.
Oh, okay.
Both, I don't do quantum hypnosis. Quantum
Oh,
hypnosis is that came from Dolores Cannon, who did past life regression. Although I do past life regression, but in my own way, not the way she was teaching. So no, I'm not using that modality.
okay. And when you do past life regression, do your clients believe that they're really experiencing a past life, or do you suggest that perhaps it's a metaphor for something they're experiencing this life?
I explain it as a tool, and I always say it doesn't matter whether you believe or not, doesn't matter whether I believe or not, although I'm 1000% believer.
Hmm.
And all the clients that come, most of them believe. Very few came skeptical, but after experience, they were converted.
Hmm.
But yes, I explain that it's a tool, therapeutic tool. Doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not, it will work either way.
And do you find that you get a particular type of client more than other types of client, or do people come to you for just everything?
It's phases, I would say, just like the world changes all the time. And there is also this element, well, from your experience, when you learn a specific tool or get fascinated by some process, You always get those type of clients who are also interested in it, whether you
Mm,
advertise for it or not. Just synchronicity, right? The same for me. Sometimes it's whole phase of metaphysical hypnosis. There was a time I mostly had people for past life regression. Then there will be whole flow of smokers. Then would be people come with physical elements, some illnesses. Then whole flock of people who are looking to find themselves. It's in
mm,
phases.
right,
I
right.
never say no.
Good. And when somebody comes to you, how do you decide which modality to employ? Say if I came to you as a client and I wanted to lose weight, how would what about what I said would make you choose to use a particular modality?
In my world, modalities are not separated. It's all one. It's just healing.
Ah,
I don't have to sit down and consciously decide what tool I'm going to throw at you.
okay.
Yeah.
So you work sort of intuitively. You just go with your feelings at the time.
What is needed? Yes.
Excellent.
Of course,
Excellent.
if you'll call me and say, I want past life regression, I'll say yes. And then
Mm.
when you come in and I see that I can, well, I'll give you what you ask for, but if I see that any other tool can be also beneficial, I will implement it. Not always you will notice it, though.
Okay. Now, with past life regressions, when we went to the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, they suggested that we not do the first session as past life, that we do at least one session just for more orientation, and then we begin with past life the second session. Do you find that you do that, or are you able to implement it the
I
first?
have pre-recorded package prep work
Ah,
for all clients. They vary. The content varies depending on what they coming for, but economy is in very bad shape in country. I don't feel right having person to come in just to precondition their mind, just to teach them to be hypnotized. And then we're so lucky with technology. So through working with so many clients, I know exactly what to do to create the best experience, how to prep each client. I have built up packages, so once they sign in, I send them the link, they log in, and they do the work. There will be a few sessions, there might be some writing things to help them clarify their goals, their needs, because very often people confused. We know, especially for hypnosis, most of people come, they say they have one issue, and then something else uncovers. Something can be completely unrelated. So I have writing prompts, they do some journaling, they do few sessions that I have recorded. This way I don't have to charge them extra, and I don't have to, I can't say it's a complete waste of time, but we can be more efficient with
yes,
technology.
yes. Yes, what you mentioned, that sometimes they will come to you with one problem and it turns out to really have a completely different uh, base or a completely different origin. It's a lot of therapists will use the metaphor of the onion. It's like peeling away an onion, you get rid of the
Mhm.
first layer that seems to be the problem, and there's this whole thing still there, it's a whole different issue. And that I find to be very fascinating. Um, how do you go about letting people know what you do?
I have so much material all over internet. I have YouTube channel. My website is full of videos. Used to be just writing. Now I don't think people read a lot. I also published books. I don't think people read them that much anymore as they used to. Now video is the king, and I use that
Oh,
to
excellent.
everyone's advantage.
Okay. And what is the name of your YouTube channel?
It's under my name, Guzalia Davis.
Okay, so we can just go to YouTube and type in your name. Okay. And what are the titles of your books?
I did for past life regression. That's, well, there were a few. Now there is one I unpublished because it just became outdated. The things I've learned, I changed my mind about it. Like, I did not believe that, wrong word, not believe, I just did not have experience myself of people recalling being incarnated as rocks or animals. I couldn't take it seriously till I experienced it myself. So
Mm.
in my first book, I dedicated whole chapter. I had this judgmental attitude. I've never seen it. I don't know if I can believe it until I experienced. So I took that book down. I have for past life regression. I have for children. I wrote nighttime story, a fairy tale, but it's in hypnotic language to help parents to help their children to fall asleep faster and at the same time program for the positive outlook. And then I have few coaching books, a few things.
Wow, you're very prolific.
Thank you.
Do you feel passionate about what you do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I live and breathe it. I cannot imagine life without it. I
That's
tried
wonderful.
though. I tried.
You
I
try to,
tried not to do. I was born in Soviet Union when, well, shamanism was outlawed. It's
oh,
maybe difficult to understand for Americans, but in Soviet Union, even the word shaman was outlawed. And for example, my grandmother, she couldn't call herself, although everybody knew what she is, but everybody just called her by the first name, Nina. Yes, and you couldn't charge for your services,
oh goodness.
but she had people lining up all day long, from morning to night, every day. This is how I remember her entire life, as much of it as I remember. But even the belief she embedded in me, you cannot charge for what the spirit does. It's
No.
not work, it's your duty.
Mm.
And people would come and pay with eggs, chickens, honey, knitted
Oh,
scarves. And she had a full-time other job to
oh,
actually have a salary. And growing up watching this, she's working non-stop. And I decided I don't want this kind of life. I want real job. I want a real career. I don't want to spread myself so thinly.
right.
So I tried. I have high education in philosophy and art. I even worked as a professor at some point in university.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't 2 years, and I thought I'm gonna die there.
Uh,
And then I tried all sorts of businesses. I even had a soap factory at some point. I had a jewelry line, clothing line. I ran antique shop. What I did, I constantly ran from myself. And then when I completed the full circle, when I there was nothing else to try, I came back exactly to where I began with. And well, you are going to laugh with the local farmers who don't have enough, a lot of cash going on. I barter.
oh,
Just like, well, I ended up just like my grandmother, which I didn't want to become. Now, sometimes people pay me with organic eggs and chickens, and, and
but
I'm
you still work with them.
absolutely, absolutely, yes.
Well, that's beautiful. And did you find that by moving from one location to another, did that change your clientele at all?
Here I can see it, yes. I spent many years in Maryland and now I am in Pennsylvania. I'm in a very rural part of Pennsylvania. What what really stood out for me is smokers. Smoking cessation is the least favorite part of my work.
Mm,
Honestly, but I am exceptionally good at it and I understand the value I give. But the type of let's say the reason why people smoke is different from what I'm observing. In Maryland, it's kind of like people don't know what to do with their time and money. And here, because the people that smoke, they're, I would say, at the poverty level. They
mm.
feel hopeless, and this is their coping mechanism. So
Oh,
this is very different worlds to me. Before, I knew that if I don't charge enough for the smoking cessation, it will not be taken seriously.
mm-hmm,
Nobody will put in effort. It's not going to hurt enough, this payment not going to hurt enough for them to even try to quit.
mm,
So my price, well, it is still on the website. I would say it's unreasonably high, but in Maryland, people paid this. Here, even though I have this price on the website, I don't charge this money because I know the situation completely different.
mm,
And people view it very differently. They appreciate it more, and it's truly their chance to improve life.
mm-hmm,
When in Maryland, it didn't seem to be like their chance to improve life. Okay, I quit now or I failed, doesn't matter. I have all this money coming in from government. Most of people work for government. They have high income, and that attitude, oh well, it didn't hurt me. So what I wasted and gave you this money for smoking cessation and I failed myself. So what? Here, especially when I say, okay, I know you cannot afford it. You can pay me very little money, but you need to promise me you're going to do something. You're going
mm.
to show up for yourself, and they really, really appreciate it. And I mean, the satisfaction I get from it. So that's a difference I see.
That's fascinating. Yes. Can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned that you know that if you don't charge a client much for a session, that they don't take it seriously. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is there a psychological connection?
I believe yes, but I cannot say that it's the same for everybody. It's not the same. For a lot of people, yes. If you don't make enough of investment, why try? It doesn't mean anything.
Right, right. And I've heard other therapists say that if somebody says that they need the therapy, but they can't pay you that much, that not only do they not benefit from the sessions as much, but often they'll wind up telling you something that makes it clear that they really could have afforded to pay you the full price. Like they'll
Oh,
talk
but
about,
I have so much experience with this.
yeah, it's
A
true.
lady, a lady cried on the phone,
Uh-huh.
begging for discount. My heart ached for her.
Mhm.
She came in for an appointment, and then, well, it was last appointment in the day. We were coming out together on the parking lot. She jumps into her Mercedes.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
I felt silly.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. especially when people ask you to help them for free because their situation's so bad. I'm a sucker for those stories.
Right.
I will volunteer myself
Yes.
and I get slapped for it every time. People
Yeah.
won't even show up to the appointment.
It's true. I've had that
Yes,
experience.
not just they will try to waste your one time, right after that, they will ask for more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, there are some downsides to this, but I think I can feel that you are as passionate about this type of work as I am. And, you know, if, for example, you wanted to make your biceps stronger, what you do is you lift weights. And while you're lifting the weights, you create micro tears in your muscle. And then when you rest, your muscle restores itself, but it becomes stronger over time. And I apply that analogy to using natural healing to make yourself stronger. What you're doing is I'm not anti-Western medicine. I would never tell anybody, don't go to your doctor. I would never say anything like that. But when you work on yourself and you heal yourself through a natural means, you're much stronger than if you receive something from the outside, like a pill or maybe a surgery or a therapy or some other kind of therapy. And it's not the same thing as when you make yourself stronger. And it's just something I feel very passionate about. And I'm so happy that people are willing to try this kind of therapy, because where I live in Southern California, people are more open-minded to things that they might call woo-woo, or crystals and incense and that kind of thing. In some places this country, at least, it would not be welcomed with open arms, and certainly in other places it would not be welcomed with open arms. Do you know if the word shaman is still outlawed in, I guess it's not the Soviet Union anymore?
Yes. After Soviet Union fell apart, everything changed.
Hmm.
Everything changed. It didn't go away anyway, it was just hidden.
Ah,
People adapt.
yes,
Humans have that capability.
yes, we are very adaptable.
Yes.
Well, all right. Is there anything else that you would like to share about what you do that you'd like anybody who might be watching this to know?
I'm kind of lost in the moment.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Do you want to share your website, what the name of your website is?
Well, I have two. I have for private services GuzaliaDavis.com, and I have a school, hypnosis school, hypnosistraining.online, where I have lots of cool courses. Hypnosis is not the only thing I do. To me, it's all unseparatable. It's all part of one part of healing. Also, people view it as separate modalities: hypnosis, energy healing, shamanic healing. I even teach profiling because I believe I wouldn't be able to be effective in my work if I did not understand personalities.
Mm,
It helps me a lot.
excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing yourself today and your passion with us and with our audience. And this has been A Better World with Julann and Fran. And if you joined us late, unfortunately, Julann could not join us because she has some sick grandchildren that she's taking care of, but she will rejoin us again when she's able. And this has been Guzalia Davis, who does many different types of modalities, and sometimes they're all combined together, and who's very good, and she's very passionate about what she does. And thank you for watching this episode, and join us again for another, if you would please. All right, so long for now.
Thank you.